Welcome to One Piece Adventure. Today we discuss about Oda planning. Oda just shocked everyone with Gear 5 Luffy versus the 5 Elders, aka all of the G at the same time. Yes, I was saying for a while that the situation was looking way too good for the Straw Hats, especially with the arrival of the Giants. It just seemed too easy, and it looks like I was right. But oh man, Oda just made it harder than even I was expecting. So make sure to stay tuned for this craziest of crazy chapters. Chill the pairing within and smash that like button if you enjoy seeing One Piece reviews like this one. I want to keep them coming. And now, without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. So we left off with Savage Gear 5 Luffy taking on Kizaru and Saturn at the same time, and it looked like he had the better of them, at least temporarily, in his giant form. He held Saturn's bizarre spider head in one hand and Kizaru's entire body in the other. Kizaru especially seems like he's running low on steam, as he was not only sweating but coughing up blood too. Oda illustrated Luffy to look super cool and serious, and a lot of fans, as I saw from the comments, were hyped that Luffy was finally being shown in such a hype and powerful light, me included. It definitely reaffirmed that he's worthy of that Yonko title, and it looks like he could have possibly taken those two on at the same time, since Saturn had to call for reinforcements. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we got to mention the fact that a broadcast started last chapter, where a recording of Vegapunk was about to tell the world the truth finally, and that insane cliffhanger brings us to this chapter called Obstruction. In a limited cover series, we see Onigashima sinking under the sea towards ancient Wano Kuni, fitting timing since last chapter Caribou was mentioning the whole ancient weapon Pluton slumbering beneath Wano thing. Wano is definitely on the mind, so something like this makes sense. This chapter starts with the recording. It was made in the past, and we see Shaka and other satellites with Vegapunk too. Vegapunk made it so that the broadcast signal makes the Marine Den Mushi all over the world broadcast his message, and no one can turn them off. This is probably something the government wanted for themselves to use as a tool for control, but nice to see Vegapunk taking yet another thing that was meant for their control and using it against them. First, a pacifistas and now this. I love watching how Vegapunk fights back using his brain rather than in the usual physical way. Shaka suggested that people around the world would need some time to prepare their screens and visual denmushi, so Vegapunk tells the people of the world that he will wait for 10 minutes so everyone can prepare their screens and visual denmushi. I love how not rushed this whole thing seems, even while he's acting in direct opposition of the world government, potentially about to drop the craziest, most mind-blowing, earth-shattering news that has ever been dropped, and yet he's like, take your bathroom break now and grab your popcorn, no rush. Meanwhile, he had to know that the government would be scrambling to stop the broadcast. Hopefully, he made it so that it would be impossible to stop, period. Even if the Gore destroyed Egghead Island. Usopp and Nami's group is seeing Vegapunk's message and they're confused about what Vegapunk is doing, and of course still no news about Zoro, Jinbei, or Brook. This chapter, man, I'm really hoping Oda delivers with the Zoro fight eventually. Because it has not gotten much hype or attention at all so far, and as a big Zoro fan, I'd like to see him crushing it. Anyways, we do see Luffy still grabbing Saturn's head. Other 4 members of the GU in Maria are talking to Saturn. It seems they use some kind of telepathy, and it's probably related to their powers, and I'm curious about what this bond is. One hypothesis is that they all have a related subgrouping of demonic devil fruits. Another may be that rather than each having their own devil fruits, they were granted devil fruit-like powers by Emu's overpowered devil fruit. We'll have to wait and see what's the case, but clearly this type of bond that makes the users capable of telepathy and even summoning the others is not something we've seen before. The rest asks Saturn, is Vegapunk really dead? And Saturn replies, I think so, I saw how Kizaru killed him. The Gorosei accordingly respond that he must have used his death to trigger that broadcast, and probably the source of the signal is in Egghead's Lavo phase. Now that's what I alluded to. I'm hoping that it isn't so easy to stop as to just destroy Egghead, but we'll have to wait and see. You know what I mean though. Hopefully it's something like on the cloud where even if this whole place is destroyed, it's still somewhere and it can still be watched. Anyways, in my last chapter review, I also speculated what the G are saying here, that Vegapunk did die and that did trigger this broadcast. I know some people thought it was too soon to assume Vegapunk is dead because it's Oda after all and characters don't necessarily die that often, but building in a feature like this that triggered a broadcast after his death seemed so Vegapunk to me, and you've got to admit it was a worthy, honorable way to go for him. His final wish being for them to protect the young Bonnie, and that's why I've been saying Vegapunk is MVP. Then we see how people all over the world react and prepare to receive Vegapunk's signal. We see familiar faces, which is nice, even though part of me is like, gee, this is a panel that could be going towards Gear 5 Luffy epicness, but it's nice nonetheless. We see people who have been impacted by Luffy the Warrior of Liberation. We see Andres Rosa, Rebecca, Leo, and other people preparing the screens. Leo says, is that the doctor whom Luffy Land is holding hostage. Which, by the way, is a nice touch. Now not only is it going to be revealed that Luffy isn't holding him hostage, it's going to become clear just how anti-world government Vegapunk is as well. In fact, after this broadcast, it'll probably be clear that Vegapunk and someone like Luffy would be on the same side rather than on different sides. But again, we can't be 100% sure yet what truth Vegapunk is going to reveal and how much of it. And if 5 elders will be enough to stop that broadcast or cut it short. Rebecca says, and I quote, "Don't believe the news that tries to make Lucy look evil," end quote. And by the way, I love that.
We hope you enjoyed Toon TV's videos. Don't forget to subscribe to Toon TV for more entertaining content.